Hello and welcome to the 5 Minute Film Club. Bit of a different video today. I'm actually going to go through some of my collection, some of my Blu-rays that I've bought over the years, a lot of them from the last 18 months. First up, the company that I've kind of really been excited about the most has been Powerhouse Films, and that's Indicator. So first up here is Ghosts of Mars. Haven't got round to watching this yet. This was a buy from their recent 5th anniversary sale. And actually I can't remember this John Carpenter film. I'm a huge John Carpenter fan, but when it gets to his later day films from the 90s and early 2000s, you'll probably know why if you've seen this film, why it's not considered a classic, but I'm interested to go back and re-watch that one. Christine. Got Christine here from Indicator as well. Haven't seen this either. I've never seen Christine, and I feel like this is a big hole in my John Carpenter knowledge, is actually not watching Christine. The merging of John Carpenter and Stephen King. I haven't watched this. There's so many great features on here, and yes, excited about watching Christine. Vampires, I remember watching this when it first came to VHS at a birthday party and thinking it was pretty terrible. I've seen the sequel as well, and that I remember being even worse. So yeah, I'm interested to watch this again and just understand what maybe I didn't like about it that first time. I remember watching it in the middle of the day, and I don't think that was probably the best idea to watch, best scenario to watch this for the first time. Yeah, not great. Another John Carpenter here, scripted by John Carpenter, something that I was really excited to get hold of. Great cast, Tommy Lee Jones, Faye Dunaway, from a script by John Carpenter and directed by Irvin Kershner, who did Empire Strikes Back. So great collection of names on this, 1978, the same year that Halloween came out. But yeah, haven't got round to watching this yet, but I think it's, yeah, I've got high hopes for this one. Burt Lancaster, another name that I've been trying to watch as many of his films this year. There's a certain power, screen chemistry that Burt Lancaster exudes in every film, no matter the quality of the film. And in this one, which I watched a couple of days ago, very much from the Catch-22 kind of era of war films, and Burt Lancaster in this film feels like he's in a completely different film to everybody else. He's still mesmerising, directed by Sidney Pollack. A bizarre film. Can't say I enjoyed it a hell of a lot, but an interesting piece nonetheless. I've also got a few recently William Castle films. I haven't got round to this one yet. This is 13 Ghosts. And I just wanted to kind of understand a bit more about William Castle. I only knew him from the gimmicks, but I haven't watched the films. So when they had their sale, and these were $6.99, I thought, yes, this I need to watch some William Castle. And actually, the special features on these, they're so extensive with documentaries and all and the like that I just had to get them. Homicidal, I have watched this one. Fantastic film, amazing film. Thought I knew exactly where this thing was going, and I didn't. It felt very. I mean, obviously, it's a clear rip-off to Psycho. But there's a lot more going on. That is a very superficial summary of what this film is. If you've seen Psycho, then you think you know exactly what's going on. But this is something else. It's just full of blood. Like the gore in this for 1961 is incredible. Great cast, great. I mean, just shocks as well for a film from 1961. Still holds up. Bunny Lake is missing. I've been recommended this film, haven't got round to watching it yet, but the cast of Laurence Olivier, the Zombies, and Noel Coward, directed by Otto Preminger. Yes, that's one I will be checking out very soon. Corruption, next up. Great limited edition box set of this with so many special features. Filmed just down the road in Seaford. Peter Cushing apparently hated this film and never wanted to talk about it again. It is a shock fest and a weird film from 1968. I am going to do a review of this film, and actually any of the films that I quickly whip in front of the camera today, let me know your thoughts about them in the comments down below, and if you want me to do a full video of one of these, including all the stuff to do on the special features. Bizarre film, several cuts on here, including a graphic Continental version where they actually got a different actress to come in and play one of the parts because she was, I don't know, more up for showing more of her flesh. I've no idea. Weird film, a very late 60s, but has got a lot going on. Another William Castle here. We got The Tingler from 1959. Again, only knew about the gimmick, but there is a lot going on. And I've just watched the Kim Newman feature about this, and he says that, you know, for 60 years we've watched The Tingler without the Percepto shaking seats, you know, the gimmick of the film. So actually now's probably the time to actually start talking about it as a film rather than just a gimmick. And I wholeheartedly agree. It is a fantastic film. It's just brilliant. You know, Vincent Price is an amazing red herring for this film. You think he's going to be bad, but actually, you know, he's, yeah, as Kim Newman said in his piece on the disc, you know, he's probably the most decent character in the film. The Tall Tea. This is part of the 501 Must-See Movies book, so when that was on sale, I thought, yeah, let's get that one. And I think something I've learnt this year is actually that I really enjoy westerns, particularly westerns like this. This film, for 78 minutes and for 1957, has so much in it. The emotional drive, it's heartbreaking, a lot of this film, and my God, you really feel for Randolph Scott, and he is, yeah, an absolute powerhouse of the cinema. It's kind of it's cut from the same cloth as Burt Lancaster. You know, I can quite happily, I could watch Randolph Scott in anything, I think. One that I haven't opened yet, but a lot of these films, I've been listening to the Arrow Video podcast with Sam and Dan, and their film recommendations are extensive, and some of them just, you feel like, yeah, I just want to watch that. I just want to see what the hell's going on in that film. So thank you to Sam and Dan for their recommendations. And this one by Dennis Hopper, kind of the follow-up to Easy Rider. I haven't watched it yet, but there's kind of... this was on their Hodorowski box set review as a recommendation, and kind of Dennis Hopper had worked with Hodorowski to kind of come up with this film, and then in the edits change the actual story, the narrative, the structure of it, and cut it up. And, you know, this is late 60s acid cinema, you know, so I'm excited to get into that. George C. Scott as well, another actor I absolutely love and would happily watch him in everything and want to watch as many of his films as possible. So this is from 1972, haven't watched it yet, but yeah, excited to. And again, George C. Scott, and again, haven't watched it yet, but this is Hardcore, Paul Schrader. So two people in there that I really, really like and enjoy watching their films. Enjoy? Yeah, no, I do enjoy. They're intense, but yeah, there's... You know you're in the hands of geniuses when you watch something with George C. Scott in, and, you know, directed by Paul Schrader as well. Big Heat, Fritz Lang, a director who, you know, one of the first directors that I thought, you know, I'm just going to watch everything by them, and this is a great latter-day noir film. Again, really punchy. For people that don't watch black and white films, or, you know, films from the 1950s, you know, they pack a punch. There's 90 minutes in this film. There's no hanging around. You need to get to the action. You need to get the impetus. You need to get the audience involved, and this one does fantastically. Ship of Fools. I haven't watched this one yet, but Stanley Kramer, amazing director and social director. This is Vivien Leigh's final film, my mum's favourite actress. So I'm excited to see this film. It wasn't particularly well received on its first release, but there's always so much going on in Stanley Kramer films that they're worth the watch, even though they are exceptionally long. Sometimes this is 150 minutes. Yeah, so looking forward to that. So that's my indicator releases that I have, and now I'll move on to my Criterion boxes. First up, a film that I've recently watched, and that's In a Lonely Place, Humphrey Bogart. Not seen a lot of Humphrey Bogarts, but saw this, Nicholas Ray, 1950. yeah, really, I'm definitely going to do a review of this one soon. And now, very different films. Again, this is a recommendation from Sam and Dan and them talking about it in relation to the latest Star Wars series, which was The Mandalorian, and how much is actually ripped from these films. So I'm really excited to get into this box set and talk about it and do a video about the films, definitely. This next box set, the Before Trilogy, a fantastic, I've watched these several times. They're perfect. All three of them are perfect. I think the more you watch them, the more you get from them. As you get older, the films change, and your appreciation of one may go up, or lower. You might. I think this time around, Before Sunset was the film that really, hit me the hardest, whereas Before Sunrise was always the one that I really enjoyed, and Before Midnight, I didn't really get the first time maybe, but now, as you head towards those ages that they are in the film, you have a greater appreciation, I think. Blowout. This is directed by Brian De Palma, a film director as well that I'm like, yeah, okay, I think I'm a Brian De Palma fan. I think I put on Letterboxd once I'd watched this. I'm a sucker for any film that has stuff to do with filmmaking in them, and this is a superb thriller from 1981, and really shows John Travolta in a different light, and you kind of imagine a separate path that John Travolta could have taken, really. He's a very underrated actor, particularly in films like Blowout. The Apu trilogy, part of the 501 must-see movies list. Haven't watched these yet, but something I watched this year was Mark Cousins' The Story of Film, an absolutely astonishing piece of work, and what he highlights and what I really enjoy in watching that was how much he highlights kind of foreign films, foreign language films. And Sajid Ray's The Apu trilogy is definitely high up on my list, and maybe I'll watch it after I've actually finished doing this video. Something else I watched, I double billed this with this one earlier on this year, so Anatomy of a Murder. I love James Stewart, Otto Preminger, and this is an amazing film. George C. Scott as again in this one. The topics and the conversations that go on in this film are amazing for 1959, and it really is, James Stewart is a different character in this film, somebody who's not as trustworthy or as, even though it's a black and white film, but he's not as friendly in this film as maybe he is in others, or what I've kind of like my knowledge of James Stewart in film. And then this one, which is just an exceptional piece of work. Sidney Lumet, yes, brilliant, and great disc from Criterion with the original 1955 teleplay as well involved. Great film, great cast, Henry Fonda. Can't beat Henry Fonda. Couple of BFI releases. Got this for my birthday this year. Another Stanley Kramer, Burt Lancaster, Spencer Tracy, Marlene Dietrich, Judy Garland. The cast that always that Stanley Kramer manages to get in his films are incredible. For rather, they're massive films that he directed, and this is 179 minutes, and it's all about the Nuremberg trials. I mean, what a subject. And what a cast. And then a box set that I've had for a while, I reviewed Fitzcarraldo earlier this year, the Werner Herzog set. Great set of films. I'm looking forward to reviewing Ogure, The Wrath of God, a bit later on, but that's another little set of films for you. Again, anything you want me to review, just let me know. The Mothman Prophecies, a film that people, when it first came out, spoke down about, and I'm not sure whether, I think it's its reputation has certainly got better in the 20 years nearly that it's been out there. And when me and Robert, my friend Robert, watched this on DVD, we rented a DVD when you could from a local co-op, completely just wanted something to scare us. And I can tell you that this well and truly scared us in 2002 when we sat down and watched it. And the music, the sound design, just everything about it. I will be talking about this one very soon. I read the book at the time, the John Keel book. I will read it again and then give you a full review of the Mothman Prophecies. And then something a little different, but this is from Imprint. So that was from Imprint. This is another one from Imprint. And that's the British comedy big screen classics. And we don't get this in the UK. These sets, so this year, a company in the UK released Dad's Army, a very bare bones release. This one is full of, you've got audio commentaries, you've got interviews, you've got pieces, you've got so much. This is a fantastic set for people who are fans of something that the British cinema. This is the only thing that we do in Britain that is different from the rest of the world. We take television series and we make big films of them, and it's something that has always happened and will always happen. We had the In-Betweeners film that was massive, that produced a sequel. There's one thing we're good at. It's or good at, sometimes not very good at, but one thing we like to do as audiences is go and watch. Otherwise, they wouldn't make them. Okay, they wouldn't make these films if we didn't actually go and watch them. Are you being served? I'm maybe at Christmas I'm going to review all of these, and then one of my favourite television series of all time, which is Steptoe and Son, written by Galton and Simpson, two of the greatest writers for television and radio ever. They invented the situation comedy, and they invented British humour, or they managed to take British humour and take it from the stage, take it from the pubs and the people that you hear in the street and on the bus, and actually just put them on TV and make you feel for them. Not just laugh at them, not just clowns. They're pathos. They have a humanity to them, all of Galton and Simpson's characters. And so I'm really looking forward to watching and reviewing those. So that's from Imprint from Australia. Amazing set. Look at that box set. Brilliant. Next up, a couple from Second Sight. I've got Texas Chainsaw Massacre, one of my favourite films of all time. And every time I think about this film, I just want to watch it. It makes you want to make films, I think. It makes you want to... I talked about it in my review, and sadly when Toby Hooper died a few years ago, just the impact of this film. And it still is impactful now. It's just phenomenal. If you really haven't seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just go and watch it. Don't be put off with the fact that it's called the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's one of the best films ever made. Assault on Precinct 13. Saw this VHS on a tiny television at a friend's house late at night. I'd already watched Halloween, loved it, and then saw this and thought, God, it's an astonishing film. Haven't watched it for a few years, but John Carpenter... To think that he made it in the same way that I feel about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I do about John Carpenter and Halloween and Assault on Precinct 13. They're just... If you're 14, 15 and watching these films, it really does make you want to just pick up a camera and just go and make a film. Then we've got some Eureka films. First up, Prophecy. Haven't watched this one yet, but this is another John Frankenheimer. I've watched a few of his this year, and looking forward to getting into this. Eco-horror. From 1979, I believe, so same year that Alien came out, and this bizarre premise, but I'm looking forward to talking about it. Then these 6 films from Eureka, and Boris Karloff. Didn't really know much about Boris Karloff, apart from his performances in The Mummy and Frankenstein, so I decided to get this. 6 films. The thing that tipped me over the edge to actually get these films was the fact that it has commentaries by Kim Newman and Stephen Jones, who are fantastic at doing commentaries, and I will be talking about these at some point. But great set. Boris Karloff, fantastic actor, doing these films. Some of these films are about an hour long. They're not much over an hour, and I love films that have immediacy, and you give them an hour, right, we're going to do absolutely everything that we can in that hour. I've watched films that are 2 or 3 hours long, and they don't do as much as in these films, and do them well. Do them better than a film that's 3 hours long. The Millionaire's Express. Again, I just thought, I'm just going to go for this. And I really enjoyed it. It's a bizarre film. It's really funny. It's a great laugh, and I'm looking forward to watching it again, actually. There's several different versions of it on here, and something I wouldn't have picked up normally, but I've been trying to expand my film knowledge away from Hollywood a little bit, and just looking at kind of the inspirations for some of our big action films and big films that we all know, and there's films from other countries that sometimes, most of the time, do it a lot better. Journey to the Centre of the Earth. Pat Boone and James Mason. I love James Mason's voice. It is quite something. So I haven't watched this one. I have watched it. I haven't watched the disc yet. But yeah, looking forward to watching this. It's a fun film. I love it. Those kind of old 50s, 60s films where they get real lizards to play dinosaurs. I'm a big dinosaur nerd, and so when you get a dinosaur with bits of cardboard stuck, you get a lizard, with bits of plastic or cardboard stuck to it, and it pretends to be... they're good fun. A film that I reviewed last year, last Christmas, which is Christmas Evil. A really great film. You can watch my review of that. I'll put the link at the top. And I'm going to watch this again this Christmas, and particularly the one, it's got John Waters' commentary on it, which is great fun. Yeah, get a bit of eggnog, watch that. Fantastic. Right, next up, I'm moving on to the Masters Cinemas series from Eureka and High Noon. This is on my 501 must-see movies list. I've watched this a few times now. It's a fantastic film. It's Gary Cooper and Grace Kelly. What's really not to like about this film? By Fred Zimmerman and produced by Stanley Kramer, scripted by Carl Foreman. Brilliant. Bela Lugosi. Again, these films are fantastic. These are 3 by Edgar Allan Poe. And honestly, if you think, I don't know whether I like 1930s, 40s horror films. Yes, you do. If you like horror films, I always think of the bit in Halloween where they're watching old horror films and they have like old horror film marathons. And yeah, I want to do that with these films. Maybe next Halloween. They are a good laugh, and they're about an hour long. Get to the point, and fantastic. The Hands of Orlok. I haven't watched this yet. This was another recommendation from the Arrow Video podcast. Again, a commentary by Stephen Jones and Kim Newman. Instant buy. So looking forward to watching that. There's quite a few silent films that I've got that I've watched and that I really enjoy, and I don't see enough, silent film videos on YouTube. So maybe that's something I can do. If you want me to, just let me know in the comments. A Foreign Affair, Marlene Dietrich, and directed by Billy Wilder. I haven't watched this one yet, but I've been watching a few Billy Wilders, reading a little bit about Billy Wilder. So I'm looking forward to getting into a few more Billy Wilders. Buster Keaton, Set, 3 films, Sherlock Jr., I've got The General, and still Steamboat Bill Jr., which I'd never watched. I'd kind of watched a lot of silent comedy, Charlie Chaplin, and I always thought, he was just a bit serious and not for me. But actually, he's exactly the kind of humour I enjoy. Stoneface, he was called, and I love it. I love the deadpan, and I'm so glad that I've got around to watching some Buster Keaton. Variety, a 1925 German film. The reason why I got this is because the Tiger Lilies do a score on this, which is just brilliant. And I really enjoyed this film. I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it since first. I've only watched it once, should I say? But yeah, maybe I'll do a video about that soon. Yeah, good 1925 film with M.L. Jennings. Next up, we have Fedora, Billy Wilder film from 1978, one of his last. He'd kind of fallen out of favour with Hollywood, and so had to go to Germany to actually make this film. And if you know much about Billy Wilder and his escape from Nazi Germany, you'll realise that it was probably a really difficult thing for him to do, to have to go to Europe to make this film. But a really good film, kind of like Sunset Boulevard. Not one of his best, but yeah, it's still made by a genius. And then we have Touch of Evil, another genius, another troubled genius, Orson Welles. I love Orson Welles' uncompromising attitude to filmmaking, and hence we have about 5 different versions of Touch of Evil. Some incredible camera work. Again, Marlene Dietrich, Zsa Zsa Gabor, Orson Welles, obviously, Charlton Heston, Janet Leigh. Fantastic film. Another influential film, Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans, directed by F.W. Murnau. Murnau? I said that with such confidence. Anyway, this is a brilliant film. I watched Last Jedi recently again, and the amount that Rian Johnson references this film is really good. If you don't like Last Jedi, that's probably for another video anyway. Won't open that can of worms. Anyway, Sunrise, brilliant film. F for Fake, haven't watched this yet. Orson Welles, even though it's on DVD, I must have had this ages. Really interested to get into. I've heard a lot about F for Fake. I'm a big fan of documentary, and I want to see his take. I want to see Orson Welles' take on the documentary genre. Interesting. Next up, another John Frankenheimer film with Rock Hudson, music by Jerry Goldsmith, camera work by James Wan Howe. Yeah, really looking forward to this one. 1966, black and white. Love the train, so I'm really interested to see how the film just after that, how he, what it was like. I'm really, looking forward to that one. If you want me to review this next, just let me know. Then slightly older, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Haven't watched this. I know that is a sin. It's in the 501 Must-See Movies book, so I will get round to it. But yeah, a great release here from Master Cinema. Birth of a Nation. It's a film that I think probably can be retired from the canon of must-watch films. Definitely, I would think. It's a good release here from Master Cinema. Some great extra features, but I think the world has moved so far away from films like Birth of a Nation and our ability to look at it. We don't have to watch this to understand cinema anymore. We don't have to sit down and watch Birth of a Nation. There are far greater films to sit down and watch than this film. Another Fritz Lang, The Testament of Dr. Mabuse, his second Dr. Mabuse films. Haven't watched this one yet, but Fritz Lang, amazing director, and really looking forward to maybe watching all of these on one day. That would take a long time, actually. Maybe I won't do that. But yeah, I would like to review all of these films at some point, all 3 of them. But this is from 1933. Testament of Dr. Mabuse. I've seen a few clips of this one, and it looks utterly bonkers. So, yeah. And then finally here we have Lifeboat, Alfred Hitchcock. I watched this. I watched all of Alfred Hitchcock's, probably the first, as many people will probably have the same experience as me. The first director that you could actually name and pick out, and it was more about the director than the actual cast of characters a lot of the time. And so I'd watched Rope, Dial for Murder, and all of those before I'd sat down to watch Lifeboat. But this is an underrated, I think, Alfred Hitchcock film that not many people will have seen. But yeah, great cast and amazing premise. I'm going to make a film entirely on a boat, just on a tiny little lifeboat, and it's all going to play out like that. And it works, most part, really well. So that's all of those Master Cinema series. Now finally onto the biggie, which is the Arrow Video collection. First up, Roger Corman and Vincent Price. 6 Gothic films: The Fall of the House of Usher, The Pit and the Pendulum, Tales of Terror, The Raven, The Haunted Palace, and Tomb of Ligeia. Haven't watched these yet, but I've been watching lots of Vincent Price, and just to get to know Vincent Price more than kind of the idea of who Vincent Price is and what an actor he is. He is so much more, like Boris Karloff, so much more than the idea of what you think Vincent Price is as an actor. Next up, another box set, which is the Hellraiser Trilogy. I'd watched Hellraiser and not really liked it the first time I'd watched it when I was younger. It was, I think the feel of it. I think actually what I wasn't liking about it was actually what makes it really good. And so kind of like just the ideas, everything in these 3 films. Hellraiser 3 is a bit strange and haven't watched that since, but I'm looking forward to watching all the documentaries on this, actually, and finishing off my Hellraiser videos. Then we have another Burt Lancaster film, which is Sweet Smell of Success, an essential film to have in your collection. Burt Lancaster is phenomenal in this film. Actually, everybody in this film. Tony Curtis. Oh, I don't think there's any redeemable characters in this film. From Alexandra McKendrick. Yes, a dark film, did not do well at a time, and it is now considered a classic, and it really is. Stanley Kubrick film, I will be reviewing this. This is in the 501, and it's a couple of films on this disc, actually, which is Killer's Kiss from 1955, and then this one, The Killing. I think this has got Sterling Hayden in it. Yes, Sterling Hayden. Again, really enjoy Sterling Hayden in any of the films that he crops up in. Oh, he's a force of nature again. Night of the Hunter, this is one of my favourite films. I absolutely love this film, and it's such a shame that Charles Lawson only did one, he only directed one film. This is an amazing release. I love it. I've seen it at the cinema, which was a brilliant experience, and it's haunting, it looks beautiful, everything about this film is amazing. If you haven't seen Night of the Hunter, you really have to watch it. Ronin. Now, I know my mate Ben is furious with me with the fact that I haven't watched Ronin. John Frankenheimer film, Robert De Niro. I'm looking forward to watching this. Maybe we'll watch it at Christmas over a whiskey. Waterworld, with several different cuts on here. I enjoy Arrow Video and the kind of completist approach that they have to their releases. We've got the Ulysses cut of this. Again, a film that I watched and wasn't very, like lots of people, wasn't very interested in. But it's grown on me, actually, of wanting to go back and watch it and just go with adult eyes and go, what was bad about it? What was it better? Exorcist 3, George C. Scott, brilliant film. Remember watching this late at night one night with my dad and being terrified, rightly, at the precise moment that I won't spoil for everybody, but there is a jump scare at this that will stay with you for the rest of your life once you've watched it. It is phenomenal. RoboCop, 1987, brilliant film. Just incredible. Paul Verhoeven. Yes, and I'm looking forward to. There's extensive extras on this disc, and really looking forward to watching them. Then The Thing. I haven't watched this in years, actually, and really need to watch it again. Because it's one of those films that I saw when I was a bit too young, I think, to really appreciate everything that's going on, and so I want to watch it again. And it's got Sam Ashurst and Dan Martin on there, so definitely going to watch those bits as well. Then this one, which I watched, which is Peter Cushing. It's Horror Express, again a commentary by Stephen Jones and Kim Newman, so it's a must-watch. I've watched the film. It's bananas, absolutely bananas. It's got Telly Savalas, and honestly, I don't know what on earth he's doing in this film. I don't know what any of them are doing in this film. Weird film, but very enjoyable. Phantasm. I watched Phantasm 3. I haven't watched any of the others, so I got this set as I like the Hellraiser set. I've seen all your Freddys, I've seen Halloween, I've seen Friday the 13th ad nauseum. So let's have a look at the other franchises that maybe don't get as much light shone on them. And Phantasm 3, really gory. I remember being made me feel a little bit ill while watching it. So yeah, maybe now's the time. I'm in my 30s, let's watch Phantasm. Let's watch all of them. Another Burt Lancaster. You'll notice a theme growing here. Ava Gardner as well. The Killers, based on a book or a short story, anyway, that I read recently by Ernest Hemingway. But yeah, what a story. I'm really interested to see how Burt Lancaster features in that film. Haven't watched a lot of his early ones. I've watched quite a few now of his later works. Yeah, looking forward to getting into really young Burt Lancaster. I've watched Brute Force, which was incredible, and he really shows his kind of acrobatic background in that film. So he's got an amazing way of moving. For a big bloke, he moves amazingly, and even in small performance movements in Sweet Smell of Success, you can tell that there's so much going on underneath, and that of course leads me to The Train, which I reviewed. I've watched it a couple of times this year. Just an amazing film. I will, even holding the DVD now makes me want to put it in again. I love it. And then a few more films that I really enjoy is the Marx Brothers. Marx Brothers films I was introduced to probably about 10 years ago, and they were all on YouTube at the time. I don't think they are anymore, and it was Duck Soup. You can't get a funnier film. I'm sorry, I don't think there is a funnier film. I think all the other comedies, this is a big thing for me to say, but all the other comedies that came after Duck Soup are attempting to get that level of pure comedy, pure zaniness. Just everything is thrown at the screen. It is absolutely crazy. And recently, while watching it, I really enjoyed films that I didn't like as much the first time out, like Monkey Business and Horse Feathers. Yeah, but Duck Soup, it's still the best. And then finally, we have Candyman. I hadn't watched this properly until this year and was blown away by it. Watched it in the middle of the day, and still, it scared me. I'm not ashamed to say that it got under my skin. It was beautiful. The music is, everybody who's watched Candyman is like, yeah, I know that. I've watched it for years, but yeah, I saw this on VHS through my fingertips when it first came to VHS. So I must have been really young, and now, just astonishing film. Astonishing. Candyman. I haven't seen the 2000 the one that came out, this one, 2021. I was trying to think of how you say 2021. It's been a long video. Anyway, thank you. There we go, Candyman. That's it. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you're still here at the end, I'm sure this is going to be a mammoth video, but anything you want me to review from this pile, just put it in the comments down below. Let me know your favourites on this list. What films you have in your collection, please. I think now that I finished the James Bond series, I'd just like to say thank you to all of the comments that I've had over the past year doing those videos, and it's meant a lot. Some really nice comments that people have said, which is not normally what you get on YouTube. So thank you, and anything you want me to review in the future, just let me know. But for now, I'll say thank you very much for watching. I've got to go and edit this. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.